All right, this is Algebra 2, Chapter 5.6. We're going to be finding the inverse of a function. All right, so let's look at number 14, starting up. So first thing I want to do is to rewrite this f of x as y. Okay, so you're going to write that as y equals to negative 3x. And the next thing I want to do is go ahead and swap the x and y. All right, so you're going to rewrite that as x equals to negative 3y. Okay, that's your first two steps. And then what you're going to do next is to isolate this y right here. Okay, so you can divide it by negative 3 on both sides. Okay, so now the negative 3 is cancel from the y side. So we have y now is isolated is equal to x over negative 3. So you can rewrite that as negative 1/3 x. Okay, the job is not done. You're supposed to rewrite this y back into the function notation, which you're going to write it as f of negative 1 of x, okay, which is equal to negative 1/3 x. So you can clearly say that this is the inverse of my original function. Okay, so now let's do this one more time for number 20. First thing I want to do, rewrite that as y, okay, f of x as y, and then is equal to negative 4 over 5x plus 1/5. Okay, swap the x and y. Okay, so you have x equals to negative 4/5, y plus 1/5. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is go ahead and isolate this y. So I'm going to have to subtract 1/5 on both sides. Okay, so I have x minus 1/5 is equal to negative 4 over 5 y. I'll continue a step on isolating the y. So I'm going to multiply by negative 5 over 4 on both sides. Okay, so make sure that you multiply on both sides. And you're going to get, now y is isolated. So y is equal to, now that we distribute the negative 5 over 4 to the x and negative 1/5. So you're going to get negative 5 over 4x plus 1/4. Okay. Last thing I want to do is go ahead and rewrite this as inverse function notation. All right, so let's check out the next one, number 36. Let's see what number 36 is asking you to do. So basically, here we are. We're going to have to determine whether the inverse function is a function. If it is, you can find the inverse. So here's what you're going to do. Look at x cubed. So x cubed on the graph is going to look like this. Okay. Of course, there's a negative, so it's supposed to be the other way around. Okay. But understand that the x cubed, if we perform the horizontal line test, okay, it's going to be just 1-to-1. Okay, which means that your function, or your inverse function, is going to be a function. Okay, so what you're going to do here is just go ahead and just find a function. So rewrite this as y. Okay, and rewrite everything else. Now I'm going to swap the x and y, so I'm going to write it as x equals to negative y cubed plus 3. Okay, now I'm going to isolate the y. So subtract 3 on both sides. So I have x minus 3 equals to negative y cubed. Okay, so you're going to divide it by negative 1 on both sides. So we have y cubed now is isolated. Since I'm dividing a negative 1, so all the signs are going to change. So this is going to become negative x plus 3. I can just rewrite the this negative x plus 3 in a different way. So just put the 3 in front. So this is going to become 3 minus x. Okay, so now you can just cube root the both sides. So let me give you a different color. So cube root both sides. So my y is now isolated is equal to cube root of 3 minus x. Understand this y is the inverse function. Okay, so let's check out the next one. For next one, this is if you graph this is 1-to-1 for the horizontal after testing with the horizontal line test. So it will be a function for the inverse function. Okay, so without saying all those to confuse you, just go ahead and just rewrite this as y equals to square root of x minus 6. What you're going to do here is swap the x and y positions. So it's going to be x equals to square root of y minus 6. Okay, now in order to isolate the y, you're going to have to square both sides. Okay, after you square both sides, you got y minus 6 equals to x squared. Okay, so you're going to add 6 on both sides. Now you got y is equal to x squared plus 6. And understand that y is the inverse function. All right, so let's check out the number 40. So number 40, unfortunately, because x squared, if you graph it, it's going to be a parabola. And if you perform the horizontal line test, see, one horizontal line is going to give you 2 points of intersections. So this is now 1-to-1. So which means that your inverse function is not going to be a function. But I'm going to show you guys how to do this anyway. So here we are. You're going to do the same thing. So it's going to be y equals to 2x squared minus 5. Okay? Swap the x and y. So x equals to 2y squared minus 5. You're going to add 5 on both sides. Okay? So you got x plus 5 equals to 2y squared. Now divide by 2. Okay, so let me just go ahead and do this to save some space. And then I'm going to go ahead and square root both sides. So if you square root both sides, this is going to become positive negative. So now your y is isolated. So I'll put y over here. And this is going to be your inverse function, which equals to a positive and negative square root of x plus 5 over 2. Okay, so technically you're supposed to rationalize this. So if you have to rationalize this, you have to think of it as square root of x plus 5 over square root 2, and you have to multiply by a rad 2 over rad 2. Okay, so you're supposed to rewrite this as 2x plus 10 over 2. This is the most correct way of writing it. And then make sure you know that it's positive and negative. All right, so the last question. This one is actually going to be a function for the inverse function. It looks crazy, right? But just go ahead and rewrite the f of x as y. And then it's equal to this crazy thing. Okay. All right, so what you're going to do here is swap the x and y. So it's going to be x equals to negative. God, I have to write this one more time. Okay. All right, so now let's go ahead and divide it by negative 1 on both sides. So this is going to be negative x equals to cube root of 2y plus 4 over 3. Now you can just cube both sides. After you cube both sides, it's going to be negative x to the third power. So think about that negative x times negative x times negative x is basically going to be negative x cubed. Okay, so I'm actually just going to go ahead and write, negative x cubed is equal to 2y plus 4 over 3. Okay, let me erase that. All right, so you're going to multiply by 3 on both sides. So you have negative 3x cubed equals to 2y plus 4. Now subtract 4 on both sides. So you have negative 3x cubed is equal to 2y. Forgot to put the minus 4 equals to 2y. And then you're going to divide by 2 on both sides. So y is going to equal to negative 3x cubed minus 4 over 2. That's it. Now understand that this is a inverse function. All right, so that's it for this lesson. You guys take care.